to go vote. This is my 10th election that I've been able to vote in, but it hasn't always been this way. In the beginning of America, rich white men ruled politics, but Victoria Woodhull was a massive part of changing that. She had a newspaper with her sister and even became the first woman to run for president 40 years before women could even vote. So this is really all thanks to her. Now let's go back to when it started in 1864, when America was still new. Rich white men ruled politics, and women were to cook, clean, and care for children. Victoria did the same thing until one day
Kenny, we must talk.
Oh, what do you want, Victoria?
I want to annul this marriage. We've been married since I was 15, and that obviously wasn't a good choice.
Whatever do you mean?
Let's face the facts. You're an adulterous alcoholic, and you neglect this family. I'm leaving you.
You cannot leave me.
I'm a free lover. I have an inalienable constitutional and natural right to love who I may for as short or long period as I can. To change I love every day if I wish. I'm leaving you, and I'm taking the kids. So that was it. I was going to live an exciting life traveling the globe, practicing medicine, and giving psychic readings with my wonderful sister, Tennessee. After years of doing so, I remarried to Colonel James H. Blood, and we all went up to New York.
And now, dear sister, all you have to do is sign these papers, and we are official.
This is it. I am the first woman.
We are the first women to own a brokerage firm on Wall Street.
That is correct. Let us go forth and create create New York history. So we went on to create our brokerage firm, and business was going well. Pretty soon there should be.
Victoria, look at all the profits we've made.
Oh my goodness. What are we gonna do with this all?
We could use it to write a newspaper. Think about it. Spreading our ideas with everyone, using our constitutional freedom of press to spread women's suffrage.
What an idea. Let us go forth and create the most renowned paper in history. Progress, free thought, untrammeled lives, breaking the way for future generations. Come one and all to get your copy of Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly. Made by women, for all. Be open-minded. Be a free thinker. Only 99 cents.
Victoria, have you seen the new issue of the day's doings?
The Woodhull? What is this?
They've turned you into some evil figure for their press. In this one, you're the devil woman. And in this one, they've positioned us in not ideal ways. We cannot stand here and take this slander.
Might it be true? Nobody wishes to even acknowledge my ideas, all because I'm a woman. If so, I'd have to find a way to make them listen. How, you might ask? Well, I began doing lectures across the country on my thoughts of society, freedom, and justice. And I'd even eventually get elected as the president of the American Association of Spiritualists. And after that, I'd be busy giving my free love speech at Steinway Hall in New York. But I needed something more. Something like... That should do it. Now, so I began my campaign with the Equal Rights Party. And I had my running mate, Frederick Douglass, who is a super respectful man. This was sure to be a memorable election, a turning point in history, if you may. This is how I'd leave my mark.
Come all to get your copy of Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly to read all about your newest candidate for the presidency. Yours truly, Victoria Woodhull. Both the Equal Rights Campaign to represent you in the next election, folks.
I was confident in my campaign. I was chosen by the Equal Rights Party after I gave them a speech on freedom, justice, and equality, using it as a way to push their ideals. As for my running mate, Frederick Douglass, he was a well-respected man who fought for social equality. He even gave famous lectures like What to a Slave is the 4th of July, where he said, the 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice where I must mourn. And though we hadn't worked together before, we beat out stereotypes such as colored men and white women only interacting under violent situations.
We're on top of the world. Nothing can stop us now. The campaign is going well and the election is close.
Unfortunately, we weren't exactly on top of the world. Now, nobody said running in a presidential election against a war hero like the Ulysses S. Grant would be easy. I known this going into it, but what I really didn't expect were the next couple months to be a massive turning point in my life.
Victoria, look, we're being
Evicted?
What are we going to do?
Everything will change come election day. Fear not, we'll resolve this. So we continued to run our newspaper, sharing our ideals and pushing for my campaign. And everything was smooth sailing, and as the election approached, my hopes could only go up more and more and more. Until the final day, Election Day, a day we'd hoped for such a long time. Until we were placed under arrest by federal marshals in New York City for our newspaper publications that very same day. We were also forced to cease them just a few years later.
My sister continued her lectures on women's suffrage after we were released from prison. Though many were inspired by her teachings, some were not so pleased with her controversy and activism, such as the one and only Susan B. Anthony.
And so, fellow activists, I advise you to restrain contact from Ms. Woodhull due to her controversy and harm to the suffrage movement. Her tactics are unethical and are a bad representation of what we stand for.
Shortly after, my sister and I moved to Great Britain. Though we kept in contact with some friends from America, we started a new life. Despite this, many women were still inspired by my sister to fight more and more for the cause. They protested and held booths. We inspired women to be free thinkers. We sparked a movement in the making.
Women officially gained the vote in 1920, and they only became more and more involved with politics from there. They'd held positions in government, they'd write their own newspapers and journals. Everywhere you look, you know a woman probably helped build it from the ground up. And we're glad we could leave a mark.
We're glad we could create a turning point in American history.